What's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up? Oh boy. How are we ever gonna make it through this year?
Oh, it's gonna be tough. We'll find a way, I'm sure.
I mean, it's not gonna be as tough for me as it is for Vital. What name are you going to request on the placard?
I think I'm gonna go with maybe some sort of royal name,
His Royal Highness Supreme Grandmaster Lonnie Cox.
yes, exactly.
There he is. Look at you rocking the colors, even in your shame.
Still a fan.
Yeah, man. What are you gonna do, bro?
It's not over yet.
We're still in it despite all that, and then we lost Bridgewater too, still in it.
Did you fill out DraftKings already?
Oof. Oh, I can't do my double kicker, can I?
2 kickers is expensive, especially these kickers. You know what? Probably why is partly because these kickers are both really good. There's some bad kicking this week.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, what the fuck happened? Extra points and 20-yard tip shots. Yeah,
it was
that
awful.
San Fran game was trash.
Welcome back to FantaCTE. My name is Nick Masick. We also have Lonnie Cox and Vital DeJuiced. Welcome back, guys. Good to see you. All right, today's show, we're going to be pretty much wrapping up fantasy season playoffs. This is the regular fantasy season playoffs. There's some big play-in games coming up this weekend we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about comebacks throughout the season, some surprise, improbable playoff berths that are available, that teams we didn't expect to be in it. Number 1 seeds are up for grabs, more so than any other year I can remember in a long time for 1 week left. Some big coaching names are getting thrown around right now for some jobs. Let's see what else we got. We got some benchings, we got some blowouts, and of course, we got something no one else in the NFL wanted to see that happened. But first, reigning new champion of our league, the Dick Pig 6, why your team sucks with champion Lonnie Cox.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I have to just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I know you can hear me, but just give me 1 second.
Oh, God.
It's going to be a rough year, Vital.
It's going to be a real rough
year. Is it going to be a crown or a belt?
Okay. All right. Let's just make sure that we're all situated here. Okay, everyone. Hello.
Fantastic.
Today on this edition of Why Your Team Sucks, we're going to travel to a little place called Every Fucking Team in This League That Isn't Me. Okay?
Oh, no.
I lost 1 game this year. Okay? 1. All right? I lost the points championship, but we're not counting that. All right? It doesn't matter. What matters is who holds the trophy at the end of the year. I will really love to pat myself on the back for the Kenneth Walker draft that saved my season. All right.
That's good.
Josh Jacobs, Lando, if you're out there watching that, Josh Jacobs, I think the consensus number 3 overall PPR running back and the number 1 overall PPR running back, Austin Eckler, on my running back stable. I would really just like to congratulate myself for being very intelligent. I would really love to congratulate all of the rest of you for being terrible. Your team sucks because you didn't have me managing it. I wish you better luck next year. You're going to need it. Okay. I am, like I said in the group chat, I am a humble king, a gentle king.
Obvious.
But king nonetheless. Okay?
Oh, man. All right. Well, we got to deal with this for the next year.
Let's go back to it. Yeah.
Congratulations.
A picture of me, actually, as a matter of fact.
Looks just like you, the spitting image. I wonder, I don't know. Can we fit a temporary tattoo on those muscles? So yeah, you the big champion. I don't feel nearly as bad because I did beat you for the points championship, which to me counts for a lot. You're right.
Victory. Listen, we need them. Somebody has to come in 5th place. You know what I mean? Somebody has to win 5th place.
Better luck next year is the accurate thing because that's the only thing that kept me out of the championship was dumb luck. I now hold the top 2 scoring weeks of our league. You have 4, I think 3 of the top 6, but I have the top 2 spots. So you and me are 1 and 2 right now in scoring, all-time scoring, going back 2 years because we switched over to what's it called, Sleeper this year, but I'm only 10 points behind you for the last 2 years combined. So Vital, no moral victories for you this year, man.
Get limber, buddy. Start stretching.
It's fine. It's fine. I accepted my fate a long time ago. I've solely accepted ever since like Indianapolis completely fell apart. Like that first round just, and then my third round was gone too with Denver and Williams. What can you do, man?
Yeah, it was a bad year, man. You're gonna be I feel like it hurts more to come in last when Lonnie's first. Like I at least have the moral victory of having the points championship over him. I think I might have won head to head against you. I don't know. Like I feel like okay about, but you, man, to be in last place the same year Lonnie finishes first is.
Hey, I still have a chance in our DraftKings or in our podcast championship.
It's true, you do. We all do. Actually,
that's what that's my little saving grace in all this. Like maybe the universe will balance things out for me. I deserve it, don't you think? Like
deserving got nothing to do with it, but I do deserve to win because of my genius in fantasy football.
Listen, I'm coming from behind.
Finally time. Okay.
This is my Cinderella story. I'm going to put a tattoo on the champ. This is my goal.
This is my 3rd time in the championship in this league. And I finally pulled it. Second?
First year, you shouldn't even have been into the championship. Oh, no, the second year, you shouldn't have
been. I was.
Because of that Mac Jones bullshit. I needed 1 fucking point. Dude, you talk about being robbed victories, dude. I could have played anyone but him, and I would be in the championship last year. Relax.
Well, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Oh, my God. I can't wait for next year. Can we draft right now? Let's go.
You know what's all right? So funny thing, I actually wanted to see if you guys want to play. I did this thing last year. Not to take away from what you've accomplished this year, Lonnie, but we do have the playoffs still coming up. And one thing I did last year with my roommate and some of his buddies is there's a playoff challenge through NFL.com. Have you guys heard of this or ever played it?
No.
It was really fun.
Pick'em?
It's kind of like a pick'em, but not quite. So the way it works is you pick each week, you pick a lineup, and it's similar fantasy scoring lineups, but and you can pick players from any team. But those players, it's not like DraftKings. There's not like a dollar amount. You can pick anybody you want, I think. But if that player advances to the following week, you get 2 times the points if you had them already on your roster. And then if they move on to the 3rd week, then you get 3 times. So each player that you pick, the further they go in the playoffs, you get, multiplied scoring each week.
So there's a lot of head play too. It's not necessarily who you think's going to score the best that week. It's like who can win the playoffs.
It gets very interesting. So anyway, I was thinking like a $25 buy-in. I'll invite everybody in our league and anybody else who's like the guys who are on our waiting list, previous league members, just kind of extend it out to everybody who's there, who's interested. You guys, do you want to play? You want to do it?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll fuck around.
And then
I figured Cam out of Florida's funniest. He says he wants in the league too.
Who does?
Back in, yeah.
Cam wants back in.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe we'll invite him to play. See, the problem is his boy, who he vouched for, never did his last place penalty. So that really reflects poorly on him. But we'll see. Maybe we'll let him back in. Maybe I think we'll invite him for the playoff challenge. And then we'll see how that goes. But there's no trades or anything like that could be happening in that. So we'll do the playoff challenge. That's gonna be a fun thing, and it goes right up through the Super Bowl, which is a good time. But it's definitely a different strategy for anything else that I've ever played. It's really cool. It's a fun way to do the playoffs for fantasy. All right. Let's see what else we got here. So there's a bunch of shit that happened. A lot of wild. The Packers destroyed the Vikings, and now the Packers are in a win and in situation. nobody expected this a few weeks ago. We were talking about the Packers they were one of your why your team sucks. We had a few why your team sucks candidates from this past year are now either in the playoffs or in a very good situation to make the playoffs. Are you guys surprised by the Packers turnaround here? Is this just kind of what we should have expected all along?
I mean, low key, we should have, because we really did talk a lot of shit about them. But then you look at them, they're still stacked at offense because they have Aaron Jones, man, and they have Aaron Rodgers. And again, he was right. If these guys learn to run their routes, boom, I'll get it to you. Right. And then he's hitting them, dude.
Yeah, it really was the receivers all along, and the receiver health. They were very banged up, and so it was a combination of young guys, high draft picks being out, and also not knowing what they're supposed to be doing. So, dude, they annihilated the Vikings, though. How demoralizing is this for the Vikings? So what they're now looking at is possibly either the Lions or the Packers, also the Seahawks are in the mix, but they just got blown out by the Lions and the Packers, both division games within the last few weeks. How demoralizing is it for the Vikings going into the playoffs right now? Just getting destroyed by two of your division opponents who you may have to see in the playoffs.
Huge, man. It's huge, man. They always say they're not a playoff team. They're not a primetime team. And now it's kind of showing, and everyone's been talking about like their point differential is almost negative, right? Versus any team was like 12 wins. It's like insane, but yeah, not good.
It's really bad. What's your take on the Vikings, Lonnie? I mean, they don't even look like a playoff team.
No, I mean, but we've been talking about that, right? This isn't the first time we've talked about, are the Vikings for real? I think on this podcast, we were probably like, oh, after that game, the Vikings are for real. But, just watching them, we were kind of like, man, what happens? I'm not writing them out yet. I mean, yeah, it's the Packers. Like, no team in the NFL knows them better than the Packers. It's Aaron Rodgers, like 2-time MVP. If you look at their roster, they're pretty well balanced, right? They've got a good running attack, good offensive line, great receivers, decent quarterback. Like, they were built for the playoffs, and here they are.
They're pretty suspect on defense, though.
Well, yeah, they lost some couple key players. Patrick Peterson is not as fast as he used to be. Like, you just kind of lost. Anthony Barr left. They still have Michael Kendricks, I believe, over there. But they're not the dominant defense that they were the last couple of years. But that being said, I'm interested to see. The Vikings are always kind of one of those teams that kind of play up in the playoffs. Like, they kind of always show up and play a little bit better than their roster. I would be curious to see how that works this time. I don't know how many players and people in the Vikings organization know how to win championships. So let's see. We'll see how they do. But I would be very nervous if I were them and had to play the Packers again. Well, the Lions are out for sure.
No, not at all. No, the Lions are definitely in it still. Right. The good news for the Vikings is that in that loss, I guess the best news for the Vikings is that the Giants won. The Giants clinched a playoff berth, which congratulations to the Giants. They look pretty tough. And also the whole NFC, the top of the NFC is wide open in terms of there's 3 12-4 teams. The Eagles lost again, so they're 13-3. So all top 4 NFC teams are going to be vying for that 1 seed. I think there's scenarios in which any one of those teams could end up as the 1 seed between the Vikings, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the 49ers. Arguably the best thing that could happen to the Vikings is they don't end up having to play a division opponent in the first round. They might get the Giants in the first round by falling to the 3 seed or something in that scenario. Because the Cowboys are most likely going to be the 5 seed, but that's not even guaranteed. The Cowboys could still end up being the 1 seed, which is crazy. I don't remember ever there being a time where this much movement could happen with 1 week to go on the top end of the playoffs. Same with the AFC. Bengals Bills tonight has huge implications for the 1 seed. The Chiefs are right there. It's between basically, I think, these 3 teams for the number 1 seed, but all 3 of them are potentially in play for it as of right now. Do you guys remember ever not knowing going into week 18 who was getting the bye and the top couple teams were going to be?
Not in a long time, but that's good, right?
It's great. It's very exciting. Makes for good football in week 18.
This has been a great year.
It has. It's been a really good football year. So
I mean, just especially fantasy wise, just a great year.
This guy. I mean, we're by the way, we're catching up to you again in the tattoo.
Oh, please, I don't care. Whatever. You know what makes getting a tattoo on your belly sweeter? Hoisting that guy. You know what I I mean? I might just get one anyway. I might just pay for one.
Just order your own. All right, that's fair. Let's see what else. So what else? We talked about the Giants. The Steelers are still in it somehow. How the fuck are the Steelers still in it? This is crazy. Steelers and the Packers, man. In classic Steelers Packers form. I think both of them just need to win and they're in. That's it. The playoff scenarios at the bottom are very interesting. So we'll get to that in a second. The Chargers are getting hot at the right time. The Chargers are a team in the AFC that people are really, they're kind of overlooking them because of the heavyweights at the top that are all in position, trying to position for that number 1 seed in the first round bye. The Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals, all three. You have to say those are the heavyweights, but the Chargers are sneaky, getting really good at the right time of the year. How worried would you be seeing the Chargers in the playoffs if you're one of those top teams?
Dude, that's what I've been saying, man. The Chargers are a good team. Like, you know, they have definitely, they were underperforming, but man, like if you look at them on paper, like God, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert, that receiving core, Gerald Everett, you know, their defense is nasty. That defensive line is sick.
Yeah.
You know, their receivers, I mean, their linebacker, like they've got Derwin James. You see that hit that Derwin James had last week? God.
Yeah.
Derwin James has been silently one of the best players in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah.
They are just stacked, and I'm very happy to see them finally getting into the playoffs. And I think they're going to make some noise, you know?
I think so too. They're scary good right now. They're getting so hot. And a lot of what was going on in the beginning of the season was injury related, you know, like there were some guys that were banged up on their defense. Joey Bosa wasn't playing for most of the beginning part of the season.
Keenan Allen missed like 8
Keenan
weeks?
Allen.
9 weeks. He was
Mike Williams missed some games, you know, and what that did was it gave him time actually to develop some chemistry with some of their depth receivers like Josh Palmer and DeAndre what's his name, Carter. So now you're looking at a team that's got depth, that's got more experience at those skill positions. You've got Gerald Everett healthy. You've got a backup in Donald Parham, who's got a lot of talent. He got a touchdown the other day. Yeah, they do. They just look really good all the way across the board. And I think all these teams on the top should be taking notice. They are probably going to be in an interesting matchup week 1, depending on what happens with the Bengals. Because the Bengals and the Ravens still could have a division championship on the line. They're probably going to play the Bengals or the Ravens in the first round of the playoffs, which, I mean, that's going to be a great game no matter what happens. Like, that's to see that in the first round, Chargers versus Bengals or Ravens. Ooh, that's good stuff.
I would love to see a Chargers-Ravens game. That would be great.
Yeah. That's
just because I'd love to see the Bengals and the Chargers play in the divisional round, you know, with a little bit more on the line, I think would be great.
Yeah. Well, what's probably going to end up, I mean, who knows? I say probably it's going to happen, but we don't know. The top 4 seeds, the top 5 seeds are all potentially going to shuffle around. So yeah, it's going to be great for watching. Again, the Steelers can play their way in over the Patriots and the Dolphins. Patriots and the Dolphins both have ways to get into playoffs. I think the Patriots, it might be a win and in situation. I think we just have to win, but we have to beat Buffalo in Buffalo, which sucks.
But they might be resting, you know?
They might be.
Aren't they competing for
but not
AFC?
No, they're not. They're not going to be resting. They won't. They can't be because, wait, the Chiefs game is earlier. So if the Chiefs lose, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's possible the Bills are resting, but it's very probable that they're not. Tonight's game has a lot to do with it. So yeah. No, it sucks. But you know what? The Patriots, are like, we're not going to do anything in the playoffs. I would almost rather see the Dolphins get in if Tua is healthy because they could actually make some noise. I don't believe in Mac Jones. He's not. They're not a team that's going to contend this year. I don't even really want to see this. I definitely don't want to see the Steelers get in because I don't think they're going to do anything. I would like to see the Dolphins get in with a healthy Tua, but is that possible? He's not even playing this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just playing it safe because they kind of have to, because it is a third one he can't play for the rest of the year, right? Isn't that the rule? Like the players,
Is
you
it?
need to get 3 concussions. I think that's a rule now. If you get 3 concussions in
should
a
be, dude.
season, yeah, you
Wow, I didn't
can't
know.
play.
So would he be eligible to come back for the playoffs?
I think it's the year.
It's
Yeah,
the
I don't
rest of the calendar year, whatever the season, including
season.
playoffs. Yeah. So yeah, the bottom of the AFC, nobody really I don't see any of those teams making any kind of noise, but it's going to be interesting. They're actually going to be playing for something, so that's cool. There's going to be a couple playing games. The Jags Titans is officially a playing game, and we get that on Saturday night, so that'll be fun to watch. Joshua Dobbs is going to be starting for the Titans. He looked better than Malik Willis, but not great. But, it's a Vrabel coach team. They're going to come out, they're going to play tough. The Jags are excited. They're a young, fired up team. That's basically, it's fun to have a play-in game on Saturday night to watch. And for the Titans, I don't know, I feel like nobody really wants to see the Titans in. Everybody wants to see the Jags get in for the most part. They're a team that could also be very interesting. Again, a lot of movement can happen, but a lot of interesting matchups for the first round of the playoffs. So Ron Rivera benched Taylor Heineke for Carson Wentz. He said, and they lost. They got knocked out of the playoffs. It's not happening. He said he has no regrets for benching Heineke. Do you guys believe this at all? I don't buy it. Not even for a second. I feel like this is like no regrets. Lonnie's belly tattoo from last year. Like this is,
I mean, I don't think he does. I think they weren't going to win anyway. There might have been maybe a little bit of a power struggle, because why else would he say that? It's like doubling down. He could have just kept it quiet, but they doubled down on it. I don't know.
I don't believe him. I think Heineke could have definitely played better than Wentz in that game. That was ugly. It was terrible. It was a shitty effort. Do you think Ron Rivera sticks around in Washington?
I think he does.
You don't think so, Lonnie? You think
I don't think so, man. I don't
No?
know. It could be hard. It's hard to say, but the last couple of years have been very disappointing considering how good they were 2 years ago or 3 years ago,
Yeah, I mean,
They won the division, didn't they?
it wasn't a very good division back then, though.
No, it was terrible. But I thought that there was that 1 year with Chase Young where they were like the number 2 or number 3 defense. Like,
Well, yeah, Chase Young was hurt all year, though. He just came back for the last couple of games. Their defense is still pretty tough. It's hard to win without a quarterback, and they've got a lot of other pieces there. So I don't know, man. I think Ron Rivera is a good coach. I think he's just been, it's like the Jets and I think Robert Saleh is a good coach. He doesn't have a quarterback. He's got a really good team, and they're very similar to the Jets in that they're like a couple decent quarterback games away from the playoffs. And that's what they're missing. On the list of other things I don't believe, Russell Wilson said he was devastated by Nathaniel Hackett's firing. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But Sean Payton's been linked in the last couple of days to the Denver job potentially, and so has the name John Harbaugh has been brought up. Do you like these names for Denver if they're willing to go there?
I guess I still think Russell Wilson is their main issue, but it's fine.
I mean, you can't get rid of Russ, but when you bring in an established, experienced coach like that, I don't know. I feel like those guys are, if anybody can get the most out of him, it's a guy like Sean Payton. Sean Payton's been great with quarterbacks for years. I like Harbaugh too. I don't know. I mean, he was a coach of the year in San Francisco at one point. He did great things with Kaepernick, and with Alex Smith. So in terms of maximizing the potential of quarterbacks that might have limited, physical capabilities, I think both of those guys are there. You saw Sean Payton squeeze some great years out of Drew Brees after he was really a shell of himself physically. So I think those are good guys for Denver. If they're going to make whatever move they make, you got to go with a big name. You got to swing for the fences kind of on coach, because there's really not much you can do with the rest of that with Russ at this point.
I mean, I like Harbaugh. I don't know if Peyton will do it. I think Peyton is sitting kind of pretty right now. I don't know if he needs to come off from retirement. Harbaugh, I heard, has been wanting to get back into the NFL for a while now. So, man, I would hate to see Peyton go to Denver and waste his time there. I think Peyton is holding off for a Dallas phone call. I would say I like Harbaugh better.
But I agree with Lonnie says. Sean Payton, would he really take that job? I think he kind of wants to go in a situation and win, right? Because he's already got it.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing for Harbaugh. Like, why would Harbaugh leave Michigan? He was just in the playoff.
Get paid, bro.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, why is he going to leave a cush job, like a job that he likes, a job where he's been very successful, for a non-ideal NFL situation? Like, why not wait for the Dallas job to open up, which it will eventually, or, you know, the New York Giants, or some job that's a little bit better, you know?
I think they can both do the job. I just don't see why they would go to Denver. Again, like I was saying, why would you, dude?
Well, you got a GM who's willing to work with you, and John Elway, you know, like he's probably going to let them be heavily involved in personnel decisions. And sometimes established older coaches who've had success like a challenge. They want to be viewed as the guy who turned things around. Dude, Peyton's got a Super Bowl. Harbaugh's got a coach of the year in the NFL already. He's been to a Super Bowl. I think they both are the kind of guys who want that like savior, you know, sort of like that's the only way they can elevate themselves at this point in coaching, is to be like, you took a dog shit team and took them to the top, you know. That some coaches like that kind of a challenge. They like that. You think about some of the teams that Parcells wanted to be a part of. He loved turning teams around. That gave him the juice, you know. And don't forget, Sean Payton's from the Parcells tree. He's been to the top of the mountain. I could totally see him taking on a great challenge and looking at it and saying, this is going to be fun. I want to see how I can, instead of just like, all right, give me the keys to a Ferrari and I'll drive it to the Super Bowl. Because they're a talented roster. You get everybody healthy again, and
they have like the number 2 defense right now.
Number 2 defense. There's a lot to like about Denver if you are a coach. All right. So week 18, they released the schedule. 3 NFC East teams are in the playoffs. We might only end up with 1 AFC East team in the playoffs. We thought at one point there were 4 sitting there, and we might end up with 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs if the Steelers come through. So Patriots or Bills? I want you guys to pick these games for week 18.
Bills for sure.
Bills. Okay. I'm going to take the Pats just because. Steelers or Browns? This is a tough one. Browns have been playing better. They've been playing up.
Steelers, I'm going to say. TJ Watt's been playing like a stud.
Yeah. TJ Watt is.
And let me tell you something, guys, right now. I don't know if you've been paying attention to him. George Pickens is going to be a name in the NFL. I bet you if you replay the tape on this podcast, I said that before. Yeah, he is going to be a stud in the NFL for a long time.
Style of play wise, he's the new DeAndre Hopkins. He's not going to break away on speed, but he's just an incredible route runner with ridiculous catch radius and hands. I don't trust Kenny Pickett all the way yet. Steelers look really good. They had a slugfest, but they barely beat the Tyler Huntley led Ravens. I think the Browns are starting to play good football, and they're starting to click. I think the Browns knock them off. Jags or Titans?
Jags.
I want to say Jags, but sometimes they just disappoint.
They haven't been lately.
All right, I'll say Jags. I believe.
I'm going Jags. They have been blowing teams out lately. Seahawks or Rams? And this has huge implications. Rams have been playing better.
Rams have been playing better, but Seahawks, man. Gino.
I agree. Seahawks. Yeah, that last game, I thought there was going to be more competition for them. No, they put it away easy.
I'm going to take the Rams in this one. The Lions and the Packers are going to be the last game of next week. It's going to be Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a play-in game for the Packers no matter what. If the Seahawks lose to the Rams, that is a play-in game for both. Winner goes to the playoffs. It's in Lambeau Field for a trip to the playoffs. You go on Lions or Packers next week?
Packers.
Packers.
I think they're rolling.
They are rolling. So are the Lions, though.
Didn't they flop last week?
Not this past week. They blew up this week. DeAndre Swift looked so good yesterday. He looks like he's back to 100%. I'm going to take the Lions. Jared Goff's balling out. It's time for them to beat the Packers. Worst QBs. This is going to be a really tough week to pick because there's going to be a lot of question marks. There are still a lot of question marks as to who the starter is going to be. For example, last week, Titans didn't start Malik Willis for Lonnie. They started Joshua Dobbs after he was there for like 3 days. They have announced that they're going to start Dobbs again, but you still get the first pick. I took Desmond Ridder again last week, 4.66. Vital took Tyler Huntley, 9.6. Both good picks, obviously. So Vital, you got 1 point. I got 2. Catching up to Lonnie, we're both, I think, respectively 4 and 5 points behind Lonnie as of right now. So tonight's DraftKings, hugely important. Also, QBs for next week, very important. Where do you guys want to see Derek Carr next year?
Is he for sure leaving Oakland?
Yes.
Sounds like, yeah, they're going to trade him. They just signed him to a pretty sizable contract.
I mean, what I'd like to see, let's see what happens with Tua, man. But if Tua's out,
I was just thinking that.
If Tua's out, I could easily see him having a great career in Miami.
I could see him doing really well in that offense. Yeah, I like him with the Jets too. Yeah, those are
he's good in San Fran too.
He would be good in San Fran. That's really interesting. The Colts are another team, obviously. I think I'd like to see him most like to see him with the Jets. He's the piece that's missing.
Yeah, that could really bring that whole team together.
Yeah. And they won't have to ask him to do a lot. You look at anytime they've gotten decent quarterback play, they've won.
Yeah. Mike White is getting like 28 fantasy points out here. It's bananas.
The Colts did announce they're playing Sam Ehlinger. Sam Darnold at New Orleans is interesting because they don't have anything to play for. Neither team does. Skylar Thompson against the Jets. Baker at Seattle.
I'm going to take Desmond Ridder.
Taking my guy, huh? He has been bad.
I hate to do this. You're
going to take your Dolphins. I was thinking about taking my Patriots quarterback. We can flip-flop. Do you want to take each other's?
I got to, man. I saw him play. Oh, I know he's going to pick that ball. Throw that pick.
It was bad, dude.
Oh, I know it. I hope I'm wrong. Either way, you know what? Either way, I'm happy. That's really what I set myself up for.
That's a good way to look at it. Maybe I should take that into consideration. I'm going to take Sam Ehlinger for the Colts. What do you guys need for tonight? Lonnie, you're already locked in as the champion. Vital?
I literally need like 65 points from Josh Allen. So if you could do that, I'll be good.
Should be fine. I need 50 points from Josh Allen to win the championship in my cousin's league. Straight up 50 points and I win. That's it. There's no other. I think this could be a shootout. Who do you guys like tonight? Who do you got? Bengals, Bills.
Taking the Bills. Or I lied. I'm actually taking the Bengals.
This is a tough one to pick.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills.
I'm with Vital. I'm taking the Bengals.
But I think Josh Allen's going to play his ass off. I think he's going to have a game.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be close to what we were saying, dude. I really feel it.
Yeah, it's good. I think he's going to score. Yeah, he's probably going to put like 40 fantasy points. Yeah, overtime is probably my only hope. You don't have a chance unless the defense also scores a lot. You're playing the defense as well. But yeah, I think
that's not happening.
I think this is going to be like a 34-31 game. Who's your captain for DraftKings tonight? There's so many good players to pick from.
Josh.
I picked Stephon Diggs.
You always go with receiver.
I like receivers. I like going receiver because they get more points than the quarterbacks sometimes. And I figure if Josh Allen has a big game, it's probably going to be mostly to Diggs. So we'll see if that plays out.
I just looked at my DraftKings. It's Joe Burrows.
Okay, cool. All right. So we're all three on different. No, we haven't had that for a while. The thing nobody wanted to see in the NFL going into the playoffs was Tom Brady throwing for 430 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 50-yard bombs to Mike Evans, rushing for a 4th touchdown, clinching a playoff spot. Are you nervous at all about seeing these guys in the playoffs now? They look like they're clicking again. Brady looks like Brady all of a sudden, like the last game, that he had to win and of course showed up big.
Yeah, it's the whole team. It's not just Brady. Mike Evans is really killing it out there, dude. The stuff Brady getting on some of these receivers is crazy, dude. It's like you still don't know it's Mike Evans at this point. Come on, dog. Like,
well, I think the receivers I think they're getting healthy too. I think Mike Evans and Chris Godwin weren't 100% all year, and Russell Gage is making some plays for him as well. Lonnie, you worried about seeing the Bucs in the first round? You might not see him. You want to. You probably want to win, so you don't have to see the Bucs in the first round. I feel like you'd rather see the Giants or not the Packers. Vital, we got to schedule your last place penalty, barring some miraculous comeback tonight. Ideally, it would be nice to do the penalty and the trophy ceremony simultaneously.
Just let me know.
But so would you be able to come up for that Tuesday night?
Sure.
Okay, cool. It'd be fun to do it at Brews Room. We usually get a big turnout there regardless. And Nico usually shows up. So we'll schedule it all with it's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. All right. So everybody watching, any listening, watching, viewers, thank you guys for watching and listening. You can follow us. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You can listen to us on all the podcast sites, and stay tuned because we're going to have a video at some point in the near future. Vital lost our season contest. He's going to have to do an interpretive dance. That is his last place penalty for this year, alongside a stand-up comedy 5-minute open mic set by a psychopath. All right. So
I like that psychopath.
I love him. He's the best. And he is very excited about
Oh
this.
my
So
God, what is he gonna say?
oh, it's
Ugh.
gonna be so gnarly. I mean, his shit is wild anyway, usually on Tuesdays. So we got that coming up. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night. And congratulations, champ, Lonnie.
Congrats, Lonnie.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome. I look forward to it.